So for some of you, the truth actually hurts that you were played, you were used not only for your political position, but you were used for your job, you were used for your income, you were used for your vote. And how you were used was you were fooled into thinking that the governor was actually there to govern this state right. he was and is supposed to have the best interests of the constituents, as people, whether we voted for him or not. And what you found out today is that there was no science involved with this whole COVID fiasco. There was no science. And you found that out today during the press conference, where no science was given, first off from the governor, then from his doctors, whatever, those people. So you got to understand this, okay? When people out there were trying to make excuses, whether they be church people, whether they be doctors or nurses or whatever, and this is nothing to say against doctors or nurses, this is just to say that there are people out there who also heard the same story that we all were hearing, but these doctors and nurses were asking the questions that, like I was asking, like, wait, some of this stuff doesn't make any sense. Well, these people were villainized, and they were told that they were stupid and that they were conspiracy right-wing a-holes and all that kind of stuff, and they were made fun of. And what's terrible about it is that just wasn't the truth. The truth was that all of us got played. The elite didn't get played. The people who were part of that class didn't get played. They were able to go to their restaurant, Gavin Newsom's restaurant. They were able to go to their French Laundry. They were able to see their friends and family. They were able to do what they wanted to do, while people like you and me were not. And then on top of it, they exacerbate the situation with the nurses, with the doctors, who have to deal with the ridiculous, orange, red, green, purple tier crap, and then remove the amount of individuals who are able to work in the hospitals, so that the nurses, the doctors, all these people, the PAs, were all freaking just overrun with cases and stuff. And then like some arbitrary, then the word cases, that wasn't what the metric was originally, but they changed the metric up. So all this stuff happened, and the people who lost out were the folks who were regular folks, the average folks, the average American, the average Californian. We're the ones who got played by this stuff. And because we got played, we got turned on each other. And so people were talking smack to me. I wasn't really going on people's posts and stuff saying nothing, because it's not my deal. But people were doing that to me. And I had to let some people go because of that stuff. And again, I got friends and family who actually did have COVID, and I had people telling me I wasn't taking it seriously. I'm taking it seriously, but I'm looking at the things that are hypocritical. And so now you see that I wasn't lying. It wasn't a conspiracy theory. It wasn't just me being some Republican GOP Trump supporter. It was, this isn't fair for the average person. The average person got played. The average person got used. The average person's business that they've had for decades got shut down because they wanted to win an election against Trump and use every means necessary, by all means necessary, against the American people. We're not supposed to be enemies of one another, but that's what they turned it into if you didn't virtue signal and put your mask on in the right places, if you didn't go out with your family members and while they did it themselves, and you were a bad person. So who lost out in that? You lost out. Democrat, Republican, GOP, conservative, progressive, liberal, you lost out on it. And the reason why we lost out on it is because we got turned on each other. That's how we lost. On top of the jobs, on top of the peace of mind. And my wife, being a mental health professional, caseloads going to the roof, people committing suicide, kids losing their minds, being stuck at home. This is what you lost out on. So you should be righteously pissed off, and you should be saying to yourself, was it worth it? Was it worth all of that? Was it worth all of that for Donald Trump? Was it worth all of that for the Democrat Party to use Democrats, against conservatives and Republicans, to use Democrats against Americans? Was it worth it? Of course it wasn't worth it. But if you're prideful, then you won't see that I've been talking to the average person. I've been just trying to talk normally to the average person. And the average person is like you and me, and we're the ones who feel this stuff. And because of it now, we're still at each other's throats. But only a few people will actually see and understand what really has been going on. Because now you see it, and it's real. We got played.